This is Marcus Ulysses, and this is Voluntary Visions. This week I'm going to be talking about a domestic issue, specifically the Child Protective Services. This is called CPS, the bully attacking our families. In my professional life, I work with special needs children. The group of kids that I have are an amazing, mostly behaved set of little people. I see their caring parents every day. It was a blessing in my own life that none of my children have any disabilities. These parents are champions in my book for enduring the challenges that come with raising a child who cannot talk or walk or has Down syndrome or any number of other ailments. As a parent, I have certainly made my share of mistakes. These parents, I am sure, are no different. It troubles me when one of these parents put their child in my care and feel they need to explain something that happened the night before. I look at their terrified faces because they are afraid that I will turn them into Child Protective Services because their third grader has a skinned knee. This post in this video was inspired by one such parent, a couple at this point a few months ago. The child is in a wheelchair, and he has trouble speaking, and has a cognitive disability. He is a joy. This child seems to never have a bad day. When he arrives, he brightens the room. If I am doing something, he always says, "Good job, Mark." His family is relatively poor. They have sacrificed to live in the affluent school district I work in. I see his loving mother and older brother every single day. Life is hard for her, raising these two boys alone. A couple of days before I wrote the initial post for this, the boy had gotten himself a haircut, as had his older brother. The mother, with almost tears in her eyes, explained to me the story that went with the haircut. In the absence of the threat of CPS, this story would have never been needed to be related to me. She explained that her disabled child always cries when he gets a haircut. This time was no different. Her older son was next. As she took the clippers to her son without a disability, he screamed in pain as she shaved his head. The clippers were dull. You could tell in her eyes that she felt horrible. She threw away the clippers and went to Walmart to buy what I am sure were the cheapest set of clippers that they had to finish her son's haircut. She said, quote, "I am sorry, I didn't know." I replied, "Why are you apologizing to me? Seems like a pretty normal event, if unfortunate, day in the life of any parent." She looked at me with hope and relayed that she just did not want her son mentioning it and having me or anyone else think that she hurt him on purpose. Did she overreact? No. I have listened to other employees complain about how this woman lives. During the winter, she sent him to school in a jacket that someone thought was not heavy enough. Another time, they complained that it was too warm. Just before Christmas time, someone complained that his shoes were too old and needed replaced. He got new ones for Christmas. These busybodies occupied their time judging the decisions of all my parents. Another child of mine has been visited multiple times by CPS because he has missed more than the allowed absences. He is a special needs kid. Of course, he is going to miss more often. The others roll their eyes and look at each other and say things like, "Mom must have not gotten up this morning." Maybe she didn't. And maybe she, another single mother, stayed out working late and her child and her needed some time together. On more times than I can count, I have heard CPS mentioned. I have seen no abuse of these children. Sure, some of them struggle to pay bills and, like my friend in the wheelchair, had to wait to get some new things because Mom was keeping the lights on. These people who live in a town with a median family income of over $100,000 a year have no idea what it means to be poor. Yet they pass judgment on a single mother with two children, one of which is severely handicapped. They are itching to turn her into CPS. I could rattle off statistics to point to the abuses that are committed by the government in the name of protecting kids. But sometimes bad people do horrible things to children, and I am well aware of that. This child is obviously not harmed. As I said before, he is an amazing, happy child. His mother tells him she loves him every morning, and in his spare time, he tells us how great his mom and brother are. Sounds really abused, doesn't he? This is where the abuses of government raise their ugly head, and for that matter, their cruel head. It is in the disruption of this family's life at trivial nonsense. This woman had to fear me because I have the power to take her loving family away from her. CPS is a department run crazy. It storms into the lives of people and takes everyone prisoner. It might be said that somebody needs to help because of the rare occasion that a parent does something wrong. Okay then, when they disrupt a family, there should be consequences for that employee. In a voluntary community, the market would tend to this. Private organizations would arise and be funded by a community to handle these situations. They could compete for the resources and would be held accountable to the people employing their services. That solution does not work for the bullies in government. They believe that they own that child. They want to force their control into the heart of every family and teach every child who is the boss. It is sick, twisted, and wrong. The truth is that even the parents do not own that child. He owns himself. He has all the same rights as every other free individual on the planet. Sure, a parent takes responsibility for helping their child grow into a good person, but that child is still their own property. As I have said in many other posts, my reasons for fighting for liberty is my compassion and my love for this world. This is just another example of how we, as a society, must take away the state's power to destroy us. We must stand together and in freedom. It is time for the CPS to stop threatening good people and to stop threatening good people who just want to control others and look down their noses at hardworking families who just want to be left alone. Now, I could go on and on. That was the article. I could go on and on and on about the abuses that I have seen by government on these children. But I'm not going to here. This is enough for now. There will likely be a later edition where both Michael and I discuss this in depth. CPS will continue to hurt and bully our families. If you've liked this video, there are some exciting things that are afoot for Voluntary Visions. One of which is that we now have a website that is, for the most part, complete. It's complete enough for me to mention it in this video. You can find it at voluntaryvisionsmedia.com, and the link will be in the bottom down there. We also have a store that you can purchase your anything that you like of our products, our logo, several of the memes that you may have seen on social media. There are many products that are on their way or are already here. We're trying to raise money, not to make a bunch of money, but to make a better production, to try to help voluntarists, to try to help people get past the controlling evil that is government. Please like, share, comment down below. And if you're on BitChute, you can hit that little green button. Give us a little bit of money so that we can increase our production. Thank you very much. You have a good day.